It's a womp 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 situation that, Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze, some of our starters for the Bears, aren't playing in the preseason. Really disappointed. Want to see Caleb Williams go out there, but in recent years, starters haven't played in the Hall of Fame game, and it's a reason why people don't like the Hall of Fame game. Tyson Bagent and Davis Mills are going to square off against each other. Is that enough star power for you to watch this? I mean, there's some real sickos out there that are craving football that will watch this game, watch every play of this game. I'll be tuning in. Still some good players to watch in this game. Some players I'm excited to see them in their first action. Tyler Scott, maybe, he's out there. I don't know because starters aren't going to play, and he's the fourth best receiver on this team. I think he should get some real action out there. I want to see him build off of, the performance he's been putting on in training camp. I want to see him get some real opportunities, show what he can do as a number one option when there's, not other guys out there. He's going to get some real good looks. And Bagent's going to throw him the ball. Can he score a touchdown? Can he beat some of these Texan corners deep for, a score? Can he put up some good numbers? I think that would be really encouraging, and it would help him get the confidence to continue to build off and continue to stack days in training camp, practices, and games, because this is a guy that's in his second year. Last year was kind of a wash, had some, drops. Justin Fields, that connection wasn't there. And offensive coordinator Luke Getsy, we know how much of a shit show that was. So I'm excited to see him get some real opportunity to get some looks and, some opportunity. Velus Jones is another guy that I know for sure is going to play. I want to see if Velus Jones could get active in that and see how he can do, in the first opportunities with the new kickoff rules and changes. He's said, there's going to be more touchdowns for the Chicago Bears in special teams because of the new rules, and it's exciting change for the game. I want to see him get some looks offensively too. Want him maybe score a touchdown, rushing, receiving, whatever he can do. I want to see him continue to, build off some of the plays he's been making in training camp, practices, and stuff. This is a guy that could benefit from a great preseason. So Tyler Scott, Velus Jones, Roschon Johnson, I think he's going to be out there playing running back, hopefully, because, I want to see him truck some people. I want to see him get some good runs. Last preseason, he looked pretty good, getting a couple carries, but it's either him or Felton, the running back they just signed, or maybe Travis Homer. Who knows? But at the running back position, I think we have a lot of depth. We have a lot of guys that could do some great things. Khalil Herbert, Johnson, and DeAndre Swift, of course. So it's going to be really interesting to see what Johnson's role is. Who's the RB2? I think Herbert's been doing really good in camp, though. That's what the word's been. So maybe he's solidifying himself at that position. Maybe he gets traded because of, how valuable he could be to another roster. Who knows? But Roschon Johnson, want to see him get out there. Want to see him take a couple carries. Defensively, I think the defensive line is going to be really interesting to watch. I mean, the Bears haven't signed anybody free agency wise lately before camp. I thought a Unique Ngakoue would be signed. Some other guys have, that they could have been interested in have signed with other teams. Carl Lawson is really the only other option available that you could see the Bears signing. So right now they seem like they're comfortable with the pieces they have on the defensive line. So Austin Booker, I want to see him get out there. Want to see him hit the quarterback just like Eric Washington said in the press conference yesterday. He wants to see him get out there, use his speed, use his power. This is a tough guy to block because he could just beat you off the edge. And I want to see him do that too. Texans offensive line, second string, third strings. Those are some guys that are not that great because we saw some of them start last year with the Texans' healthy offensive line. The guys, the starters, are going to be out. So I'm excited to see him get some good opportunity to get after the quarterback. And maybe, who knows, he has a couple good performances. Maybe he could be like Terrell Lewis was last preseason. Khalid Kareem is another guy I'm excited to watch because last preseason with the Colts, when he was on that team, he had a sack in every preseason game. So maybe this is another guy that can get great opportunity to show that he belongs to the rotation. This is a guy I was excited about the Bears signing, but he just, health was a big issue for him. Really didn't get to see too many opportunities for him out there. But yeah, he could be a key rotational guy. And like I said, preseason demon, so hopefully he continues that and proves why he belongs in this rotation. He's got the size, he's got the speed, he's got the power. It's going to be interesting seeing him rock that Khalil Mack though number, but hopefully he could be another extension of Khalil Mack. Obviously not Khalil Mack, but a guy that can be another game changer, a guy that can give us at least 4 sacks. That's what we need. If we're not going to sign a dominant, or if we're not going to trade for a Judon or one of these other names, Hassan Reddick, let's actually have a group of scrappy guys that are going to be productive and that are going to wreak havoc on that defensive line. I also want to see Zach Pickens and Keith Randolph Jr. Keith Randolph Jr. Was one of the best defensive tackles in the Big Ten, and really just injuries really set him back a little. But him and Newton, that the guy that went to the Commanders, they were dominant. They were dominating against run, and he has a similar size and similar appearance to Dexter. He just needs to shore up some things in his game, but I think this is a guy that can make the roster. And if he has a good preseason, he could definitely make the roster. The Bears haven't really signed another depth guy on the defensive interior positions. Cowart, I think that's a guy that's on the back end of the depth chart. So maybe he could beat him out. Who knows? But Pickens is a guy that could benefit also from having a good preseason. He made some plays last season when he got opportunity, but just having Justin Jones out there and Dexter got more of the reps. But Pickens, he's been batting balls down in practices and stuff. That rep against Tevin Jenkins didn't manhandle him. But I think Pickens still has a lot of stuff that he has a high ceiling he could reach. He could be a good player, a good rotational interior defensive lineman, and that's a goal. I don't think he's going to be as good as Dexter, or he could be as good as Dexter, but this is a guy that definitely could be out there making plays and a rotational guy. Reddy Stewart is another guy that I'm excited to watch. He's been making plays in camp, with Kyler Gordon hurt. He had an interception. He picked off Caleb Williams. He's been making plays. And at Troy University, he was a turnover machine, making hella interceptions. Really good in coverage, really scrappy guy. I'm excited to see him get some real opportunity out there. The secondary, it could be a deep-ass secondary, deeper than we thought. This is probably one of the best groups on our roster. Jalen Johnson, Kevin Byard, Brisker, Kyler Gordon, and Tyreek Stevenson. Tyreek Stevenson is going to take another leap. And Greg Stroman Jr., who had the Washington Commanders game, he had a really fucking good game that game. So the secondary is deep. It could be a really good group, and a guy like Reddy Stewart could have opportunity to, I think at the very least, he's going to make the practice squad with the buzz and the noise he's been making, but he could make the roster too if he has a good preseason. So the stars aren't playing, but there are still some really good, interesting players to watch and some storylines to follow. After the game, going to drop a recap video the next day, following up a reaction to some of the players. Hopefully Tyler Scott, Velus Jones, they score touchdowns. Roshan Johnson, Reddy Stewart, maybe he has 2 interception game. Who knows what's going to happen? But once it happens, I'm going to drop a reaction for it, and I'm going to keep you guys updated. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, peace. But I would want him to get an extension done with, Keenan Allen. I would want him to stay with the Chicago Bears for maybe 2 or 3 more years, because he's coming off his best season last year with the Chargers.